Greetings. This is another exciting episode of Marketing Intelligence where we discuss everything marketing, data, technology. Today I'm sitting with a lovely guest, Coogan Pillay.
Yep.
Greetings.
Greetings to you.
How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a beautiful day. First of all, thank you for inviting me over.
Thanks for coming through.
It's an honor. It's a pleasure to be speaking with you. And I think it's a good day for us to have this conversation.
Awesome. Before we dive in, please introduce yourself to the guests.
So my name is Coogan Pillay. Been in marketing data for about approximately 9 years. Before that in finance for 11 years. So quite a young'un, you might say, in the marketing industry, but with great knowledge, experience. Lived in Cape Town, came back to Johannesburg, worked in the alcohol industry, worked in FMCG, worked in automotive, worked in the Toyota space. So yeah, been around the block in different industries. Currently in the alcohol and beverage industry, focusing on consumer data.
Okay. Take us through your transformation from finance to marketing.
Okay, that's a very interesting topic. A lot of people ask me that question.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, Coogan, but how did you jump from being a financial accountant and going into the market space? Totally different headspace, total different way of thinking, different mindset.
Yeah.
I said, that's where it was. I was very curious.
Okay.
A very curious mindset. And I think that's what played my role, getting into marketing, being curious about things, asking that question, why?
Okay.
You know, like Simon Sinek says, always start with why.
Yeah,
you know?
start with why.
Start with why. In 2015, I was working at a company and doing finance, and I was like, this is not working out for me.
Okay.
Doing cash books, doing month-end journals, sitting to 12 to close up books, and I'm like, I'm taking the plunge. Quitting my job, no job to go to, started applying, got into data analysis because I knew Excel and working with data, got into marketing and never looked back. So it's been a quick transition, learning about digital, going back and learning about how digital transformation started within marketing and how marketing has developed from the time I entered it and before that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So 9 years in marketing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of transformation, take us through the transformation in marketing from the time you started till today. Okay.
Very interesting but laughable kind of story. I entered a space where people were doing social media reports in 2015 where they would download Excel reports from Facebook Insights and use a calculator to understand how many insights and put it into a report. So that was reporting for them. So I almost fell off my chair until I introduced them to Excel formulas.
Then
linking it with your presentations. But going closer to the transformation is that how did people understand, how did you use social media to elevate their brands? I think that's what sparked the curious side of me. How do people behave over the different channels? You know, I mean channels, I mean like X, or that time it was Twitter. Now and
Twitter,
YouTube, and YouTube and Facebook. How do people react on different type of channels, but it's the same person? So that sparked a very kind of curious mindset. It says, why do you react and speak on this channel like this and speak like that? And what actually got that behavior out of you? I think, and as it moved over, and as we were speaking about earlier, the new channel TikTok has now transformed digital in terms of marketing to a new space. And we all have to get into that space and elevate it. So I think a lot of companies are going into the various ways of trying to make sure that they are on par with technology, on par in using data, and on par to make sure that the culture in a company is driving that mindset.
100%. Okay. So we've learned really from Michael Porter, who is the father of competitive intelligence. You know, and he's warned us really, and I'm talking about 15 years ago, where he's really prepared businesses for what's coming. And he said, you know, one of the challenges really for all businesses going forward will be competition.
Yes.
Especially threats from new entrants. And we've seen this with Capitec, right?
Yes.
When you've been in business for too long, suddenly this underdog comes through with innovation, excitement, hunger, passion to prove a point.
Yes, definitely.
Right?
I think that's a good point you brought there.
So how can businesses today use marketing, right? To gain that competitive advantage?
I think it's the way you approach and where you're standing by your identity as a brand. A lot of people are saying, this is what my competitor is doing. Oh, let me watch what my competitor is doing. you can watch their tactics, understand their tactics, but believe in your brand identity, believe in your product. Make sure that you are speaking the same tone, the same language. Make sure that your audience is feeling resonate with your content. Because if you're starting to drift towards your competitor, then your audience is saying, but why is my brand speaking like the competitor? I think your strategy must be so succinct across all channels that you're speaking like one voice.
Yeah.
It must be where you speak with your consumer. And a lot of brands speak to the consumer.
Okay, speak to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you must speak with them. Then you get that feeling. The consumer get the feeling, and I'm emphasizing the word feeling because you then get an emotional grab on your consumer.
How do I know? Sorry, I have to interrupt you on this point. How do I know if I'm speaking with,
the replies you get, the replies you get,
right?
The comments back, the advocacy you see naturally that goes organic.
Okay.
When you put a post and you launch a new campaign, you cut your media after 3 weeks normally on a small campaign, but you still see people talking about it, people reposting, new posts coming about it. People are saying, I'm enjoying this with my friends, but you got no media about it. Now people are already being advocates for you. They are feeling what you're putting out there.
Yes.
They emotionally now feel connected to you.
Yes.
And behavioral scientists call that the emotional contagious connection.
Okay.
Where you then form a bond with your consumer. You could do the worst thing and the biggest scandal come up, but they'll still feel loyal to your brand because now they've got that emotional connection.
Okay.
And behavioral science says the brain works in such a way that it locks into an emotion and a connection. And every time you feel it, and every time you think about it, you feel about brand, whatever it may be.
Yes.
So that's how you get it. You make sure your content connects,
engage, customer engagement.
Yes.
Emotionally.
Yes, emotionally.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to get that feeling. You got to have that ha-ha moment. You got to have that your ear standing up when you see an ad on YouTube or whichever channel. You must feel like I'm feeling at home. When I watch this or I see this or I drink this or eat this or drive this, it must feel natural to the consumer.
I get what you're saying. It sounds to me like a no-brainer.
Yeah, be simple.
Where are companies getting it wrong?
I think they're trying to get too high-tech in it. I think they're trying to do too many things at the same time. They're not staying to the focus and core of who they are. They're trying to diversify, create a new variant, a new SKU, a new product to add on more sales, more profits. But people want to know who you are. They want to know your mission, your vision. What do you want to do in the future with this one single solid core brand? Do you want to feel like, are you talking about sustainability? Are you thinking about the future? Are you thinking about our earth?
Yeah.
Are you thinking about driving CI programs in the community? Because you want to feel that you are about them, talking to them about what they care about.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
While we're still on that note, take us through the top 3 challenges facing organizations today when it comes to marketing especially.
So I've spoken to a lot of CMOs in the last year or so, and a couple of things I've picked up from CMOs is that a lot of things have come their way, and the first thing that comes their way is purpose.
Purpose, okay.
Yeah, culture and leadership.
Okay.
Those are the 3 things that I've picked up in different conversations and different events that they find to put a finger onto it and understand how to get it right all the time. Because people leave, people come on board, people change positions. How do they keep that going, the purpose? So when we talk of purpose, what do we talk about? Purpose, if you define your purpose in a company, in an organization, or in a department, what are the objectives of your purpose? If you clarify what's that purpose line, is there an objective to that purpose line? Is there key results to that objective? And then comes your vision and mission statement.
Yes.
Now if you align that, you've got a purpose that everybody's working towards, they have objectives and key results that they need to do.
Yes.
But they also have in the back of their mind, what is that vision we're working towards? All right?
Yes.
And then when we look at culture, and a lot of people say culture is pizzas on a Friday with a couple of drinks. No, I say it's not that.
Okay.
For me, culture is, and I'm talking in my space, and specifically my space of data and marketing, it's about a brand manager or product manager saying, Coogan, we want to do this with the brand. What does the data tell me? Can we do this? Does the audience appetite for it is good?
Yes.
Is it appetite on Meta or Twitter? Is the content video or is it this? So that's the type of culture you want. in your company.
Okay.
You want the people to be coming, Temba, you presented this, but what data did you back it up? That's the question.
The evidence.
You want that question to say, what's the evidence?
Yes.
What's the data that's backing your decision making? And that's the culture we must drive. Every decision we must make must be thumbs up, or I've got a feeling in my gut all the time. It must be, guys, we did this for the last 3 quarters. This is how we performed. This didn't work for us. We spent 2 million here, $1 million there, $1 million there.
Yes.
That didn't work. Our learnings was this.
Yes.
Our actions was told to do this differently.
Yes.
And this is why we want to do this differently this time. So now the CMOs, whoever you present it to in leadership or in that authority position, is saying, oh, Coogan is like now backing everything about what he has learned, what we've done, what we plan to do, what actually happened. All right?
Yes.
So we come back to that culture of, does data back up your arguments to make the best business decisions so you get business value?
Right? 100%.
So that's my culture. That's my culture point. Leadership is a very big topic for me because I follow a lot of leaders, and one of the leaders that I do follow about leadership is Simon Sinek, and everybody knows the great speaker. He says there's leadership and there's authority, right? You get people that are not leaders in a company, but they got the designation of authority. They can sign up checks, they can promote, they can hire, they can fire somebody, but are they leadership? Not all the time. Okay, leadership is somebody that takes care of the people on the right of them, people on the left of them.
Yeah.
Are you okay? How can I help you to pick up your? Are you struggling at a certain task? Are you studying something? How can I assist you? And that person then takes that mindset and says, oh wow, this is what leadership is. I must take care of the people around me that sits around me in my junior position or mid-level position. When he leaves the department and go to another department, it's like he spreads that word as well. Takes care of the people around you.
Yes.
You make sure that you're building them up because leaders must build leaders. And
100%.
Leadership is, that's what leadership is. That you're leading a company or leading a department that builds other leaders. That you're asking, how can I assist you to do your job better? How can I assist you to do your task better? You must be approachable in that way. So that's the 3 things that I think a lot of our organizations within South Africa, and I think out of South Africa as well, that face.
Struggling mostly with purpose, culture, and leadership.
Yeah, I think that combination and getting that right, I think will solve a lot of problems we face as teething issues as startups, entrepreneurs, and a lot of companies that are so big at the moment that they are so diversified in globally that they can't hold that always moving kind of slate around. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So I think this conversation is leading us to one place, and that's this data space.
Yes.
Right. The data conversation is nothing new, really.
Yeah,
I mean, a couple of years back, we've learned about this, and I think back then, the challenge was the collecting of the data.
Yeah.
That was the challenge.
Yeah.
But I think the challenge today is the analyzing of the data.
Yeah.
Monetizing the data. Actioning the data.
Yeah.
So most businesses today, they're sitting with so much data.
Tons of data.
Tons of data.
Yeah. Terabytes. Yeah.
Terabytes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How do they make use of that data? How can they leverage more on the data?
Okay, I'll speak from my point of view because my point of view is where I'm in consumer data.
Yes.
So I'll speak from that management of data and how we manage data in that area and my experiences in the past as well. So it's about making sure that you come back to the purpose. What is the purpose of the data you want to collect?
Yeah. Okay.
Get that right first, all right? What is the objectives that you want to do, right? So the objective is to make sure that you understand your consumers' interactions with a brand or brands or product. But how do you understand who's the consumer? You understand the consumer by collecting data from various digital points, USSD, Meta, web forms, wherever it may be, event data.
Yeah.
You understand who's your consumer. First of all, you collect the data by digital platforms. It comes into a server. People use different servers. People use Azure, wherever it may be.
Yeah.
Bringing the data in. But bringing the data is not the problem. The problem is then stitching the data together to make sense of it.
Yeah, 100%.
So
100%.
what you're going to do is then create a unified naming for a consumer. So unified naming would be something like probably your email address, your cell phone number, and your last name. That's a unified number where there'll never be 2 of those in the world, right? So that's your unified Temba number within this big organization. So whenever you interact again in the future with me, be it an event, be it a digital platform, you put in your cell phone number, your email address, it automatically then links. Then you speak to your data engineers, you start something called modeling. And as you would know from your past experiences, you got to model and connect these data points.
Yes, 100%.
So that's your cell phone number, find and bring it together. So then you have that interaction, you have a fact table which says this is Temba's details, but then we have an event which is now linking him to an event. So that's now cell phone number to cell phone number, now you connected him to that event. So now you still can see the bigger picture. If you look back, you can see, okay, Temba first interacted with me on the 1st of January. On the 5th of February, he interacted again. Oh, cool. I got another interaction from Temba. You go to an event, he signs on with his cell phone number to enter the event. Oh, we've got another data event. So that brings the data into all the servers. So connecting these servers is sometimes of a tricky situation, but I wouldn't speak, that's not my areas of expertise. That's an engineer and a solutions architect.
Yes.
But the strategy behind it, it's got to be a strategy behind it. It's got to be a thinking why you want to do what you want to do. So whenever I always introduce a strategy, I'm always going to speak to engineers. I don't like them to feel like they're connecting tables for me, making calculations. I make them understand what data it is, what we're doing with
100%.
it. What does it mean? What does it really do in the future? So connecting this data via cell phone number for everybody and bringing it in one environment. So you have something called the Holy Grail, which is a single view of the consumer. Everybody talks about it, but what does it look like? It looks like that I can be able to see a Temba in the middle, but I can see all these spider hands of your interactions, all different places over time, that I can see your customer lifetime value over time.
Yes, I love that point.
So now to manage your data is about making sure that you have scripts running, that you have business rules that you've set between the data strategist like myself, the product team, the brand team, and engineer or solutions architect. And you sit in a room and say, okay, this is our rules for our company. If the cell phone number is incorrect, we reject it. So you have to put business rules in, so the data comes in clean.
So the data quality as well as what comes in there.
Yeah, so
100%.
So to get that right, you sort it at source. What I mean by sorting it at source, when you put in out a web form, it must have validations. So nobody can put their name in as question marks. Nobody can put their cell phone number as 5 Warwara street name.
Shouldn't be acceptable.
Well, yes.
It sounds tedious. Someone is watching this and said, Coogan, I hear what you're saying, but it sounds tedious. Is it?
It's very.
Okay.
At the beginning, it's very tedious because you got to test. And as you know, the normal marketing term, A/B testing, you got to test. You bring data in, run it through the script of the business rules. What comes out at the end? So you put a lot of junk data, a lot of sample junk data. You push it through the script. It comes with another set. Oh, cool. Now it's separated name, surname, cell phone number, wherever it may be.
100%.
And you check that. And you do that, 5 times? We did it about 6 times. We send about 2 terabytes of data through. At each time, sample sets of data, dirty data and clean data in between it to see what came out on the other end. Then we're like, okay, cool. Now that script works. But it's never a finished product.
Yes.
It's always learning.
100%. I like that.
Because I'm not only asking for your name, your surname, your cell phone number, and email address. Next week, I might ask you for what is your favorite retail store? Where do you enjoy your favorite beverage? Where do you buy your favorite car from? So along the points now, we've got to update that script. Because now it's not only looking for 8 columns, it's now looking for 12 columns. So you've got to always maintain and update that script.
Yes.
You, as a data strategist, working with an engineer, that conversations will happen daily. Checking the quality of the data coming in. Checking to make sure that the data is picking up the new data points that you're speaking about that's coming in from a supplier, software supplier, a purpose for that data. So bringing the data together, get a more clear picture of the consumer.
You know, again, when I'm working with most of my clients, really, what I'm seeing is that misalignment between sales and marketing, right? We know for a fact that the purpose of marketing is to drive the commercial aspect, which results into sales.
Correct.
Right? And as much as most business out there are looking for sales, but I feel like they're not supporting the sales with the
marketing data.
With the marketing data and stuff. How can organizations get that right? How can they align sales and marketing?
Okay, so that's an interesting topic because something I've been thinking about a lot in the last couple of weeks. Because as you know, I'm in consumer data, so consumer data tells me I know Temba, he stays in a certain place, he joins this association, this newsletter, whatever it may be, to be a part of this audience.
Yes.
I know now he stays at 5 Smith Street, whatever it may be, in Joburg.
100%.
His gender is male, he loves football, he enjoys a beverage now and again. Okay, I've got a couple of data points. Now it is understanding the behavioral points of that. And I know I'm going a bit on a long space, but it comes to a certain point where you then understand certain things about the consumer and it informs sales. And it's like, cool, now that I know that Timber goes and buys on a Friday between this time of the day and that time, he goes and buys his beverage at a certain retailer in Bryanston.
Mm-hmm.
And on a Saturday, he goes out to friends in Santon in a certain area because he updated and he said something in one of our surveys, and we get thousands of rows, thousands of Timbers, thousands of other Coogans replying to all of this. Now I have segmentation.
100%.
I have a segmentation. Now I know Timbers that stay in a certain area, but party, for lack of a better word, in Santon on a Saturday, and this demographics now works in different ways. So you then you filter the data by their behaviors. So we want to know purchase data.
Different segments, definitely.
Yes, yeah. Purchase data, your partying, your hanging out data, all these different segments. What that then informs, it informs us as industries not to send our products to sit in the Northwest, 100,000 units. Our audience is not there. They're sitting in Santon, so send that 100,000 units there. So then it informs your sales. It informs your warehousing. It informs your transportation.
I love that.
Because then you don't have people sending 50,000 BMW M3s to the Kruger National Park. There's nobody to buy it. You see, you'll send it to Santon because you know that's where your audience is.
100%.
Okay.
I use a similar analogy really, and I call it let's go fishing.
Okay.
Right? When I train sales professionals, I like to say that gone are the days where business will just say to their consultants, let's go fishing, without telling them where we're going fishing.
Yep.
You know, what equipment we need, what's the best time to fish, what this fish likes to eat,
yeah.
What type of fish we're looking for that matter.
Yeah.
Because if we're not clear, we're just going to catch any fish, right?
Yeah, true.
So I think all this then becomes important.
True.
Right? And if you start thinking about it, I think that let's go fishing concept is quite interesting to me because it and I'm not suggesting that customers are fish, right? But I really think that if we can then start getting into the nitty-gritty of things and say to a Coogan, when you want to go sell, here's the best market.
Yes.
And this is the best time to go sell it.
Yes.
This is what you say. This is what they want to hear. This is what they prefer. This is what they like. This is what they want to see.
Yep.
This is how they want to feel. You know those 5 senses?
Yeah.
Right?
Gotta use them.
This is what they want to taste. This is what they want to hear.
Experience.
This is what they want to experience.
Yeah.
All these type of things. So I really believe that it then becomes important to then back up sales, with marketing. I'll give you a practical example. I'm with a couple of insurance companies, right? Okay. Covering me on different things. But it's so strange that only a few of them really engage me. Like earlier when we talked about like engagement and stuff, constant engagement. I'm not getting like that engagement that I should be, that I feel like I should be getting and stuff. Because my belief is that it's more expensive really to look for new clients than it is to actually leverage on existing ones. That upsell, the cross-sell, whatever the case may be. So I feel like as soon as businesses start really paying attention to who's already in our pool, right? How do we leverage more in this and how do we retain? How do we keep this?
Yes.
It will always become a red race where some people are just going to the market, look for new clients. Well, these ones, the ones they get next month, they're leaving. They get these ones 3 months down the line, they're leaving. And it's so interesting also that even when I've left some businesses, they didn't pick it up. How come?
Yeah, I think
why didn't they pick it up? Why didn't someone call me and say, we've seen you've stopped paying. We haven't heard from you. Why hasn't someone done that? Is it because they're focusing more on
new sales?
Yeah.
So customer service comes into point there.
Okay.
Yeah. So that customer service on following up on the consumer. Are you happy with your product? Are you happy with the service? That's not happening. Why do you want to leave? So that retaining of a consumer is becoming less and more important to majority of the businesses out there because they're just looking for new sales. They're just looking for new incomes. They're not worried about retaining and making sure that consumers and the customers that are sitting in their databases or paying their subs, paying their premiums or buying their products are happy with the product. Are you innovating? And that's a big product. That's a big space for us. We see the banking industry we spoke about earlier. There's one particular bank that's always innovating, offering more than you'll see from other banks. You want to be there because they're on the top edge of innovation. The consumer wants to stay with a business that's innovative, that's offering them something, that's giving them experience that in their comfort, in their convenience. So it must be around what you're offering your consumer that's not allowing them to wake up and do something physically, but they can sit here at home on their couch and still get the service they need and don't have to go drive out to a dealership, drive out to a service station.
Okay.
Can I do something that's technologically innovative? So how are we taking that next step to understand what do our consumer wants next? That's sitting in our pool.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying. When you use the word, consumer, it's interesting to me because I want us to also touch on, or you take us through what you see as a difference between the baby boomers, the millennials. I believe that comes out that will be Gen Z.
Gen Z, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gen X.
Gen X.
Yeah.
Refer to
Alpha,
Alpha as well and stuff. What are you seeing as a difference in behavior when it comes to those different consumers?
I think when we talk about that, we must then speak on a specific kind of category or perspective. So we talk about the streaming. Let's talk about streaming. Okay. When you talk about baby boomers, they are very solid. They want to start something and finish it. They want to sit and focus and understand what is this thing telling me. The millennials are like, I got the topic. I know what's going to happen next. I'm not watching the rest of this.
Okay, good point.
Right?
Good point. I like that.
Then you get your Gen Zs like, this is old school. I'll just rather watch a TikTok. All right?
Okay.
And then the Gen Alphas are, we gaming. Yeah. We streaming on gaming channels, and we then playing our games and streaming and watching somebody else play. So they are multi-focused.
I like that. 100%. I like that.
Millennials are trying to catch up and make sure that the Gen Alphas are not losing plot of what's happening around them.
Yes.
The baby boomers are like, are you guys focusing? Are you guys know what you're going to do in the future? Are you purpose driven? Because they're thinking they're already there, long ahead. They know the mistakes they've made. Can I help you to get into the right space? Millennials are like, please don't tell me what to do in the right spaces, but what can I learn from you? I think when we talk about this different, it's the focus we look at. What's the purpose of what we're doing?
Yes.
And how is it going to build me and set me up for the next?
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. In closing, top 3 things you believe business should be doing today?
I think using data more often.
Okay.
Yeah. But talking about data-driven, it's about making decisions with data.
Okay.
Right?
Data-driven marketing.
Yes.
Evidence-based decision-making.
Yeah. It has to be decision-making.
Yes.
You have to make sure that you got the culture right in your company.
Okay.
Culture meaning that everybody feels inclusive, everybody feels like they understand data. Start a data literacy program in your company.
Okay, 100%. Right? I like that. I love that.
Even finance, your guys that works in the warehouse, the guys that works in production, the guys that are driving your trucks.
You don't want a situation where someone says, that's not my job.
No, I don't understand data.
Or I'm not involved in that.
Yeah.
Or that's not me.
That's not me.
Speak to.
Yeah.
Speak to.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like that point. That's a very good point.
Data literacy must go throughout the company. Even though if you're serving a cup of coffee or you're sitting on an exec board, data literacy is for everybody.
I think that also speaks to mindset, right?
Yes, it's a mindset thing.
Because the minute someone sees themselves as part of this ecosystem or whatever that's happening in here, it's because in their mind they've seen that they are actually this piece of the puzzle. That when you plug it in, suddenly you've got like a complete picture and stuff. Yeah. That's a nice point you're making there.
You feel plugged in. You feel a part of the organization. You're learning something. You're using the data to actually benefit the company and benefit yourself. So data literacy is important.
Okay.
I think then driving purpose. Driving that purpose that actually speaks into the skills, the talent of your staff. If you are not an artist that paints, I can't tell you to go paint me a canvas. That's not your area of expertise.
Yes, 100%.
But make sure that the purpose and your objectives speaks into the talent of the people you hire. And make sure you drive their strengths. Don't make them, do you want to pick up your weaknesses? No, drive their strengths. That's what you hire them. Organization's culture and making success happens.
Coogan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
There's so many questions that I want to ask you, but I want to leave the viewers with an appetite to want to hear from you again.
Yes.
So definitely I'm going to invite you again.
Perfect.
I want us to dive deep into marketing technology, all this type of things, right? Digital transformation, all those type of things. But we'll make time for that.
Yes.
But for today, I appreciate your time. Great insights you've shared in there. Final words from you to the viewers. You can look at them now. You're speaking to the viewers.
Yeah. So for me, in closing, in life, you never lose. You always learn. and make sure that you're making true connections and networking for the future.
True connection and networking. I love that.
Yeah.
Coogan, thank you so much. There you have it. Until next time. Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks, Win.